Hello and welcome, my voluptuous velociraptors. How you doing this wonderful day? It's Super John Bombo here, and I'm going to make a pretty quick video for you guys because I'm actually on vacation right now, and I'm making this video in kind of the worst way ever. And in addition to that, if I sound a little bit different, I'm using a different microphone and a different laptop, so before you guys say, your voice sounds different! Yes, it does. It probably does, because it's a different microphone. Alright? But I don't want to get angry at you guys. And if you guys want to press that like button for me, please do that. Because we've got a lot of new changes going on right now, and a lot of them are pretty cool. So this is the new hero, the Psionic Monkey, or Psy. I don't know the gender of Psy right now. I will figure it out eventually for you guys, but sounds like a girl, but could be like a younger person or something like that, or genderless, I don't know. It doesn't matter to me too much, but any which way, this is Psy. And what Psy does is psychic attacks. So first of all, has infinite range, which is really, really, really cool. Anywhere on the map you want to attack, awesomeness. In addition, she or he does damage. I'm just going to say they, I think. I think they is the best. Does damage from anything down to 0. It is an instantaneous kill when you use the Psionic Monkey. Pretty freaking ridiculous. So we're going to use rainbows over here, getting annihilated. As you start to level up, you can eventually start to do purples, ceramics, and eventually Moabs. So we can do purples, no purples yet, ceramics, Moab class balloons, and eventually we start to do BFBs, Zoma Gods, and DDTs as we start to level up. But it does take time for these things to happen. Alright, there we go. 14, we finally start to get Moabs over here, but you can tell multiple Moabs getting destroyed from everything down to nothing. Pretty crazy. As we go up higher, eventually we can start to do BFBs on level 16, and we can literally just insta-kill them. It's freaking insane! I know. And as again we go higher, it's oh my god, DDTs, and even further than that. So, Psy, I will be doing a full video on Psy eventually, but as of right now, I just kind of wanted to show you guys what's going on with them, because they are legit ridiculous. I gotta say, I think I'm gonna say overpowered here. I haven't tested them out in a full game yet. Maybe they're not as good as I think, but right now, looking very, very overpowered. And that's not to mention the two abilities here, which do even more damage on top of that, and stun the balloons, which kind of act like as a support, but still pretty good. One of the really cool changes in the game is the new Odyssey browser. So everybody knows that there's challenges in this game right now, and you can make your own challenges and share them to the world, but now you can make your own Odysseys and share them to the world. I don't know if I love this, but I will say that I think it's going to be fun to have a somewhat challenging Odyssey browser to play with. It's going to be really weird, though, on whether or not I even want to jump into these ones, because I think a lot of them are going to be just too long for what I want to actually do in BTD6. So, right now, mixed review from me, but I will play into it a little bit, and we'll see what this ends up being. In addition, there's a new map over here. So it's going to be an expert map called Sanctuary. And this one is, man, looks really, really difficult. I mean, I have not played too many expert maps yet, but I will just say really, really, really difficult. You'll notice the 5 platforms down here. In addition, you can use this platform up here to do some stuff, including 2 water, towers up in the top up here, and a little bit of land as well, if you want. But what's weird about this one is that everything moves. So your water towers are going to move, these platforms are going to move, the only thing that doesn't move is going to be the vines and the way the balloons come out. But there's going to be 2 entrances, and there's going to be 4 exits leaving this map. That's just crazy. And don't forget that they move every single round, too. So we got a lot to work with over here. Going to be a fun map for a lot of people to play over here for quite a while. I don't think it's going to be the most difficult map in the entire world, but it's definitely going to require a lot of monkey aces, subs, boats, abilities, and all that good stuff in here. Going to be a fun one. Alright, we've got a bunch of balance changes coming to BTD6 over here as well. So let's just go through them real quick and show you guys what the fun, cool things going on are. The main thing I want to point out is that NGQ does do a really good job with these balances, generally, and I still think that they're doing a really good job here, but some of them are just a little bit unnecessary for me. I respect that they're doing things and trying to make it better, just probably like a little bit overkill, maybe, depending on how you feel. So, first and foremost, we've got the Plasma Monkey Fan Club. There's a price decrease from 50k to 45k. I already felt like it was a pretty good upgrade if you were able to use it properly. The issue was it was really hard to use it properly. So it ended up not being that useful in most situations. I feel like that's a fair price decrease, just a $5,000 decrease, to make it more usable in everyday regular life, I suppose. The next is the Boomerang Change, which is actually quite interesting. Basically, when you got a glaive thrower for your boomerang, you had a speed increase with that glaives. It doesn't tell you that. It just throw sharper and faster glaives. Okay, so it's supposed to be a speed increase and a damage increase, or pierce increase, which is really important to get glaives then. But they said that's a little too OP just for that one silly little $200 upgrade to do all of that. So they decided to say, well, we're going to make base boomerangs shoot even faster, but leave out that extra speed that you get from the glaives. So overall, it's just going to make base boomerangs a little bit better, and it's going to make you want to build more other boomerangs. For example, a faster rangs with Red Hot Rings or something like that, or a faster rangs with Kylie Boomerang. You're going to actually have a pretty nice buff on the other boomerangs. And then I guess kind of like a smidge of a nerf on the top path, kind of. So just keep that in mind that top path boomerangs are not required anymore. You might want to smidge that around and switch it up just a little bit. Another upgrade for the boomerang here is going to be the Moab Dom, which is not a huge change, but it is a change nonetheless. Basically, we do more pierce now when we end up exploding on top of a Moab. So instead of just exploding and doing a few little bits of damage to these balloons, it's pretty consistent now. It's going to do a pretty significant amount of damage with those explosions. Alright, we've also got to deal with this glue gunner over here. So the glue gunner is going to end up having, and I don't have a mouse either, so I'm doing this all with my trackpad, guys. I know, this is ridiculous. Ridiculous. So we've got a super glue now, which is a very good upgrade now. From 35,000 now to 28,000, but in addition, they changed it. It's crazy how much they buffed this guy. He sucked. He was garbage. He was literally a piece of poop on the floor. Nobody liked this guy. Even the flies didn't want to touch it. That's how big of a piece of poop this guy was. And now, he's not quite as poopy. In fact, he might start tasting like nougat or chocolate or something like that. You might want to pick this guy off the floor, and the flies are going to be eating it like crazy or something. I don't know. This guy's good. He's actually pretty solid. Check this out. We're going to a bunch of BFBs. And you're going to see the power of the super glue over here. So basically what he's going to do now is he's going to be able to stun Moabs or hit them multiple times. Before, he would hit them once and it would just kind of exist for a while. He'd never be able to hit them again. And the glue would just wear off and it would suck. It was really stupid. Now we can hit them multiple times and do a pretty significant amount of damage as well, which I think is the most important part because it used to not be able to do that much damage. In addition to hitting Moab class balloons, though, it's really not that bad against ceramics and stuff like that. So don't forget that you can hit ceramics and stun them for like forever over here with this guy, doing a lot of damage and a lot of slowdown. Still a support tower, don't get me wrong, but doing more damage than we used to, and obviously a lot of stunnage overall. So, interesting tower. Basically, instead of using an Icicle Impale, you might want to use this guy instead. Just keep that in mind. Now, we've got another change here with the Sniper Monkey. So the Sniper Monkey is going to end up having a price decrease on this Cripple Moab. Basically, Cripple Moab was never used in a regular game because it sucked, and now we can maybe use it a little bit better because it's $6,000 cheaper, from $40,000 down to $34,000. Welcome change. I like it. I still think Cripple Moab is probably not going to be the tower that I'm going to be picking to use all the time, but at least it's a welcome change to this game, and I like it decently. Another change is going to be this Monkey Ace here. So the Monkey Ace is going to change just a smidge. Operation Dartstorm now, the damage to Moab class balloons is going to go from 18 up to 24. So we can pop them up pretty quickly and still pop the balloons inside. I think it's just basically going to be a buff compared to the third tier, which it felt like it really wasn't much of a buff to go from the third tier to the fourth tier. Now we actually have a reason to get that fourth tier instead of spamming third tiers kind of all over the place. This is a very weird change to the game, but I think still a very welcome one. When we get a Special Operations, it's got crap tons of upgrades kind of all over the place. But the one weird one is the Marine. Now the Marine's actually a pretty powerful upgrade to use, or a pretty powerful tower to use. He pops quite a few balloons. But I want you guys to notice this cooldown. We can actually put down multiple Marines at the same time because that cooldown is so quick over here. Basically, we're never going to be on the screen without a Marine if we have good micro. Alright, and I think that's important, if we have good micro. That doesn't always happen. But because we did that, we made him just a little bit less powerful from 30 pops down to from 30 pierce down to 20 pierce. So a pretty significant nerf there, but we're buffing that cooldown, making him overall better than he already is, and much more consistent, which I always hate about abilities, how inconsistent they are. It's tough to use. Now that's not going to be an issue at all. Now the Spike Factory got a pretty interesting change over here as well. I think we kind of knew that this was going to be coming because the Spike Balls was really OP. It was like pretty good. I didn't use it all that much, to be honest, but like it was good. When you did use it, you understood why people used it. Spike Ball's got a pretty big nerf from 17 down to 14 Pierce on every single one of these balls, but because they did that, they also made 4th tier cheaper from 11,000 down to 9,500. So the explosions are going to mean a lot more over here, and you're going to make sure you get faster production, all that good stuff over here as well. But now, I might be jumping into 4th tier spike vectors pretty quickly, and not only just putting them in the back, but also possibly putting them in the front over here, and letting them get to work, kind of just spraying kind of all over the place. I think we might actually have a valuable, reasonable tower that can explode balloons, Moab damage, and all that good stuff here, all in the very front. Very weird, interesting idea, but just want to point it out that that's all possible now with the Spike Factory. I would not call these things a mega nerf. I would just say that they're changes, and changes that I think are welcome. Now the Dartling Gun, he's got a small nerf over here. Well, I don't know, maybe a big nerf, depending on how you're looking at it. Rocket Storm, baby. Rocket Storm was just kind of one of those upgrades. We always just used it whenever we wanted it. We just threw it out. It shot missiles all over the place, and by the time we need it again, it was like back already. Well, now the cooldown is a little bit higher, guys. We're talking about 40 seconds from 30 seconds. So, yeah, that's not exactly fun for us, but it is what it is. Next, we've got the Monkey Village. So if you guys don't know, what's weird about this bottom path Monkey Village is most people stop at Monkey Town. You're just like, oh, we got a Monkey Town. And when I put, towers in the range of this guy, they're going to be making extra cash, right? Look at that. Extra time ones, extra cash. That's always good. But people don't know is if you get a 4th tier. So check this out. All right, if I build a banana farm here, and I build a banana farm here, and I send out round 1, you notice I'm making $20, $20, $20, $20. But if I get a 4th tier, a Monkey City, now these bananas turn into $23 per banana instead of just $20. So instead of doing a 10% buff now, though, they're doing a 15% buff on the money that's in range here. It's really weird because you usually want to put a lot of towers inside of the range of this guy. That can make you extra cash by popping balloons, but this is another option now in making money. I think it's cool. I didn't know. It's just like there's not really a reason to get it still, though. Like, it's just weird. Like, you just don't want to get it, not because it's not good, but just because you don't really have a reason to get him. And that's why he's not being used all that much, because there's no freaking reason. I guess if he becomes more OP, maybe we'll start to use it a little bit more. We got an engineer change over here. So basically, huge buff. Baby, huge freaking buff. We're talking about this 4th tier Sentry Expert, just all over the board here. Everything's better. Laser, double pierce. Laser sentries, double pierce. Ball sentry damage from 1 to 2. Ball sentry attack cooldown from 1 to 1.1. Sentry attack cooldown from 1.3 to 0.9. Holy crap, everything's better. Alright, everything's just better, 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 better. I just really, really like it. In addition, and this is actually a pretty big change here, if you decide to say, I don't want this middle path upgrade, I don't want extra Moab damage, I want to pin things. Now, the sentries with sprockets can pin those balloons in addition. So this is just a huge, huge, huge buff to that 3rd tier and that 4th tier here. Sentries being able to pin balloons is big news. We're talking about a support tower now, not a popping power tower. And that's what I think the engineer should have been in the first place, and I think they're finally developing him into a good support tower over here. This is a good, reasonable, mid-range tower to use these days, guys. I'm liking him. So, in addition, there's a small sub-change with missiles, but I don't even really want to talk about that too much. Just know that they're a little bit better, I think. And then 2 other minor changes, because I don't feel like jumping out of this, is that Gwendolyn has a weird change for level 17, and that's it. Doesn't really matter much, but it is a change. And Etienne is now nerfed. His UCAV damage is going to be nerfed pretty hard on pretty much every single level. From 3 to 2, 6 to 4, 9 to 7, and 12 to 10 on level 10, 15, 17, and 20. Just generally worse. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you press that like button for me. I'd really, really appreciate that. I know this is weird for me, and I don't normally make these videos, but I really appreciate when you guys do that for me. So press that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and of course, have a super duper delicious day.